Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday evening. Your favorite registered nurse, Life and Vibe, otherwise known as Ray. Well, I even have the little stethoscope up there to prove it. Hi, how's everyone doing this evening? Let me show. Oh, I've got the chat already showing. Hi, nice to see you. Hi, Ann. Hi, Catherine. Hey, Brianna. And I know people are coming in, and people have already taken some time to answer the poll. So we actually have, I hope, a fun evening ahead of us. Sarasota Tim hasn't really put out a lot of content, but hey, we don't need that. We'll take a look at him because it's kind of a topic I feel that would kind of cover not only Tim and his desires to take the KLX, the dual sport motorbike out to wherever he wants to go, Utah or Arizona. I don't dare pronounce the name of the desert in case Tim comes into my chat and corrects me. But yeah, we're going to cover some of looking at that interesting escapade of Tim's. Not much, though. It was pretty boring. And then we're going to cover poor little our friend off-grid Mikey, because back in, and I need to make sure that I was going to hook up the link to this and get it all ready, and then something exciting came into my email box, and I'll be sharing it with you guys. It's to do with the court case. It's to do with the Sarasota Tim community. It was an interesting buy me a coffee I got this evening. And from a person who feels that my buy me a coffee is the best person. And I'm wondering if they already understand that I am sending Sarasota Tim a subpoena. I've already got that ready to go. I just need to get that over to the courthouse. And so we are asking for documents and stuff. And so I know this person is interested. Was it the Mojave? I thought it was Moab, like Moeb, something like Moab. You want us to tell you now, Anna? Hey, Carol, come on in. You want us to tell? Well, of course you want us to tell you now. Of course. You're going to have to wait a little bit. Of course. Well, one thing I'll ask everyone to do, though, there's a couple of things, actually, getting the Saturday evening started. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday out there. Make sure that you hit the likes over there. And if you haven't had a chance, subscribe. And if you really do feel like you want to help the channel, like this person did, you can buy me a coffee. And I know that the people who participate in making sure that they let their commentary be known about me love that I have a buy me a coffee. And if you want to show extra support to my work here in calling out, just sort of like from a nurse perspective, like some of the interesting health advice we get to see and lifestyle choices, or putting motorcycles up and down, and kind of obviously focusing it instead of just all the youngins, a little bit more in our age group, representing us out there. So I really do appreciate you joining me here this evening. So yes, we're going to take a look at a little bit of Tim, a little bit of off-grid, cheap living Mike, because he had one today that I felt was quite appropriate for what we are going to be talking about today. And so, yeah. And I just want to thank you all. And make sure, too, that you take a look at the poll that I set up. What would be your biggest fear about going solo? What? Oh, I didn't get the English right on that. Darn me. Sorry. What would be? Sorry about that. I think I tried to change something from what's your biggest fear to what would be. So I apologize. I can't edit the English now. Darn it. I'm not ending the poll. Copy editing was a little late on this. I was trying to get the dogs out for a walk. No lies. It's a beautiful day. And I wanted to take advantage and take them to around the park where we live again. Because, I mean, it's beautiful. It's right next to where I live. fact that I can just go in and walk at such a beautiful location so easily, it's just ridiculous not to. So I didn't obviously copy edit. Drop a like just for me being like lazy in my copy edit. So what would be your biggest fear about going solo? Currently at number one, which is interesting in what we're going to be talking about today, especially from my perspective being a registered nurse, is in a medical emergency while alone. And anybody who has been following off-grid living, cheap off-grid living, Mikey and his story, you will know in July of 2025, he had an accident that required him going to the emergency room. So we're actually going to talk about the 3 pillars of this evening, which are going to be what would be the core. So if you were to be wanting to be out in the country, a little bit more homesteading, a little bit more off-grid, those of us who are a little bit older, I think these are going to be 3 pillars that are the 3 mistakes. If you're not taking care of them, then you're going to be regretting it. So we're going to go over those. And they're going to be interesting to follow up. And as we look at each of the different clips through the evening, we will take a look at each one of those 3 pillars. And so some of them I find quite interesting. And so hopefully, if you're not here in the United States, for one of them, there is an equivalent for you out in wherever you live. And drop me in the chat where you're seeing and listening to me from this evening. Because I'm going to be honest, I have been looking at potentially at some point, I've been living in a condo for over 20 years. I have always wanted to have an opportunity to live in something with more of a yard. I was living in a big city prior to living in Virginia Beach. I was living in Mexico City. And so I didn't have a lot of space there either, as far as a yard or anything. And then before that, it was London. So you can imagine the last time I really saw a garden was at my grandmother's house, and she's long passed away, sadly. And so anyway, long story short, I think we all dream about sometimes just getting away from it all and getting out in the country. And so that's why I kind of thought about this topic today. So we go back to the poll. So what would be your biggest fear about going solo? At 60% and 40 votes, medical emergency while alone. In second place and very close to third is the physical labor or injury. The third is running out of money. And then lastly, no cell service isolation. So those are some of the fears that you so far have said. If you haven't had a chance to participate in the poll, I suggest that you do so and join in with the fun. Okay. All right. Let's get over to some I think the one that would be most interesting would actually be starting to talk from Mikey's medical emergency that he had back in his time. Sorry if I haven't popped in on the chat. I'm trying to keep everything running over here. I know the moderators are doing a great job over there. You used to have your Honda Goldwing when you were in your 20s, didn't dress out in all Honda. Yeah, it was the people that look at him. Oh, he's a schooled little boy. Oh, don't worry. We're going to get to Tim tonight too, guys. Don't you worry. We're going to cover a bunch of people. We see Grumpy Lily Tad, Timbo. Well, Timbo keeps telling us he's going to go out and travel to all these places. So I think it would only be fair to make sure that we gave him some medical care. So I'm going to pop over that, made sure that we got him ready for his travels. He got that trailer hitch. He's like ready to go. And I promise you, if you hang on tonight, hit the likes coming in. I got some juicy gossip this evening. I got juicy gossip regarding the Tim case. It's pretty juicy, so you should say. So glad. Oh, I'm so glad I went live tonight too. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. I don't, we'll enjoy it together. Of course, I'm having to work tomorrow. What's new? I'm coming here from the kitchen, and Who is under my feet? Junebug, what is Junebug is under my feet? Junebug has been very clingy today. Yeah, what you wear? Oh, Tim was buying a bunch of clothes too. So yeah, make sure you let people know. I know a lot of people have been enjoying the really nice weather, so I'm expecting that things will be quiet this evening. And I'm not just trying to throw Tim's name in every one of my live streams, because we're going to talk about all sorts of people. There are all sorts of nomads who live out there, and there's lots of people who want to be solo nomads. And Tim wants to be a solo nomad. All right, let me get over to this YouTube tab, and I'm actually going to bring up about what happened to this chap Mikey a while back ago, and it's going to be, and I'll make sure I'm going to make sure I link this couple's description down below in my description box. Junebug, could you please get out from under my feet, girl? Thank you. I don't know what you're up to. All right, and I want to thank, this is Drifting Dreamers 5. And they, because Mikey, if you don't know, I understand he did this just the other day. I don't know what's up with my dog. I'm just going to say that my dog was like, I don't know what Jumbo's like under my feet, man. Like, I have no idea what she's up to. So if anybody, some of you might not be familiar, but the reason why I'm talking about this is just really because of what the situation happened here. And, you know, people want to say that living off grid or potentially homesteading and all of these things, especially with everything happening in the economy, is such a less expensive way of managing your finances. And yeah, that seems, and it seems great. You know, it's, I mean, like I said, I look at little houses in the country all the time and have visions of, lawn mowing and sitting on, John Deere equipment. But then I also think about my tweaking my back in the space of 5 seconds. So our bodies may not be as equipped to do these things. So I don't know how far sometimes we want to be. So I wanted to remind everybody, and this couple's going to be kind enough to go over the details. Drifting, and I'm going to make sure to give them a shout out. They're a much bigger channel than me. I need their shout out. Drifting Dreamers 5. And like I said, I'll make sure to link this channel in the description box. It's update on Mike's emergency room visit. And then they talk about their tiny house and their off-gridding. But we're just going to do the part about Mike's emergency room visit, because if some of you are not aware, Mike owns a piece of land. I believe it's in Arizona, and it's not developed, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. And he's there on some type of RV, living there. And we'll see that today, the actual land that he's on. And so he's obviously aging. And so it's kind of, as much as people, because he talks about the medical, of course, as much as you don't want stuff like this is going to happen. So we're going to talk about if you were out in the middle of nowhere, from a nurse's perspective, what would I suggest to somebody to take care of themselves? Like, what would be things that would be smart to do? 3 things in order to take care of yourself. And for you too, Tim. All right. All right. So thank you for letting me replay this, guys.
I went out to feed the dogs, and that's when I was feeding the dogs, I noticed I had some irritation. What to me seemed like was not my shoulder, but like in my back, like my shoulder blade area, like my upper back.
There you go.
It's not me. It's not me that doesn't like the cicadas. I know that it's going to affect you guys as from hearing it. So don't worry. I'm not mad at the nature. I love it. I just don't want it to affect you guys. Anyway, so I went out to feed the dogs, and I played around with the dogs a little bit. And by the time I was done playing with the dogs and Lissa had come out to meet me, I really felt a pain, like an ache in my back, underneath, in my shoulder area, like right here.
Now, this is a different mic. This is a mic from this particular drifting dreamers. And this guy ended up in an emergency room. And so I just want to kind of talk about this because of the fact that they're out in like cicada land, out in the middle of nowhere. And he's going to tell you about what happened to him here. And so keep going, this nice man. But this is scary.
I told her, I was like, hey, I'm hurting. And she, and she was like, well, what's happening? And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't done anything. I've literally done nothing. And so whatever, sometimes I get sore in my back, I need a good massage when I need, but sometimes, you sleep wrong or something, your neck got a crink in your neck or sore, that's kind of what I was just chalking it up to. So I started stretching a little bit and pulling on my back a little bit. We noticed that when we went to feed the goats, we noticed that the day before the tarp had been blown down.
Now this is a younger man. Okay. And he looks like his arm is hurting. And so I've been watching a lot of folks who are older wanting to get out and live in vans, and there's all sorts of stuff. Here's a young guy, okay? And what he's going through out in the middle of nowhere. And he's got someone next to him too. A lot of times these people are alone. All right, keep going. I love the sound of the cicadas. Keep telling the story.
So before the sun came out and started cooking up the babies, we wanted to pull the tarp back up. Sorry.
Yeah.
We wanted to pull the tarp back up and cover them. So we grabbed the tarp, right? And when I pulled it up over my...
Well, this is the thing too, is, I mean, and this is one of my things about it. And I don't necessarily talk about this as one of the pillars, but you have to kind of think to yourself, how much is the savings in doing things so self-sufficiently? If something were to happen to you and you're in an emergency situation at all, how much is that going to cost you to actually get a ambulance ride, an air vac, something actually that's going to end up sending you to the hospital and with a bill? I know a lot of people ignore the bills, but they can't be discharged in bankruptcy here, as we know, and they will haunt you for the rest of your life. Those medical places aren't just going to disappear like that, especially nowadays. And so that's kind of like, and this is a young guy.
My head.
Keep going, young man.
My whole back was on fire. It was hurting so bad. And I couldn't even move my right arm anymore. I was immobilized on my right arm. And I pulled it back, the rest of the way with my left arm. And I told Lisa, I said, listen, I can't. I gotta go sit down. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Like I was getting overexcited because that's something that typically doesn't happen to me. I don't have
sounds like he did something. I'm wondering with the emergency room. I know this young man doesn't look alike, but can you imagine? You're just out in the middle of nowhere. This happens.
Any prior injuries to my shoulders or my upper back area. So I just didn't understand, So we came back to the house or to the camper and sat around in the camper for probably another, 30, 40 minutes of me whining and griping and complaining and being a jerk. Finally, I was like, all right, let's just go to the emergency room.
It's the emergency room.
So we went to Paris, the emergency room here in Paris. I believe it's like a, Mercy Hospital or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it didn't take too long. There wasn't too many people in there. They got me in there pretty fast.
Oh, that's good.
I had 2 different x-rays. They x-rayed my chest.
They obviously triaged him quickly. Can you imagine? I hope they have good health insurance.
In my back shoulder area. My chest was hurting real bad. I didn't have an MRI or anything like that, but all the x-rays were negative.
Well, you're going to have less access. I mean, one of the reasons why I find this topic interesting, and obviously my aunt and uncle aren't quite the same, but my uncle and aunt, they live on the Eastern Shore in Virginia, and they live in a very rural part of the Eastern Shore. And my uncle had a really bad heart attack. I mean, so bad. It was like 8 heart attacks, like one after the next, because it happens. His heart kept infarcting. Anyway, terrible. And so they had to get him to the little hospital, I guess, in the Eastern Shore, which can't really handle those types of massive trauma cases. And then the hospital that would have been Riverside in Newport News was not able to take in any new cardiac trauma patients. So he ended up having to get air vac over to from the hospital he was at over to a hospital in Maryland. I don't even want to know what the bill was for that. So they're not even that much in the middle of nowhere. So that's why, even though it seems like fun to go out to Quartzsite or go out to get some BLM land or do something of that nature, I think in reality, just from my perspective as a registered nurse, as unfun as it is, my aunt now is wishing she was now living in a more urban area with access things walking distance than living somewhere where she feels like she's in a big house with a lot to manage and with a lot of stuff to do. Now, it doesn't mean like an assisted living, but I think there is that kind of return back to sort of more urban areas as people retire. I see that a lot here in Virginia Beach, where there's a lot of ability to get condos right at the beach, which is walking distance to the beach, to restaurants, to, entertainment areas, and very close to, hospital, ambulances. And then the cost of everything obviously is going to be that as well. So that's kind of, let's hear what happened with the thing, because this man was just pulling a tarp, okay, and he's a young guy.
The doctor told me without an MRI, there's really no way to know exactly what's happening, but more than likely it was a pinched nerve. So they gave me some anti-inflammatory and some pain medication. Pretty much just sent me on my way.
And he's out for a week.
Yeah. And he told me that I should start to feel a little better in about 4 days. 4 days before I start to feel better.
And it's going to kill him. We're only on day 2, and it's killing him.
I couldn't even get through the first day.
So he obviously just pulled something, I'm thinking, is what happened. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I just kind of wanted to highlight that, because one thing that's really important is that there is something like a radius rule. So let's take a quick look at our good friend Tim, and we'll take a look at off-grid Mikey too. Let me find old Sarasota Tim, what he's been up to today. He's not done much. He killed a steak. He should be thankful that I've been using how to, because Tim did how to grill a New York strip steak, which I'm sure is not how to grill one. I can't do the meat ones, guys. I apologize. Have to drop with her subsidies. Oh, your daughter had to drop hers when the subsidies were stopped. She's 35. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's so scary to be young, And I think it's not that everybody should be living like in cotton wool either, but I just see more and more channels with seniors making decisions to live in vehicles, to do van life, to go out elsewhere. Tim is just about trying to do regular stuff, looking like he's 17 again. All right. Here's our friend Tim. We'll listen to the first part, because I'm sure it's like finally he just like gets all of his gear on, because nothing screams amateur like wearing every piece of your monster equipment here. But anyway, before we get to Tim, let me make him a bit bigger. I did want to talk about this radius thing. So the first thing that people make a mistake about is, thinking, wanting to escape. And I understand once you hit about 50, I'm feeling it too. I just want to be in the middle of nowhere sometimes. I just want to be away. I want to have a yard. Like today, it was a beautiful day. The dogs wanted to sit outside. Obviously, I have a neighborhood that is very dog friendly, so we have just tons of dogs. Oh, it was just barking, and it's just not very, and I just wanted them outside so I could clean the house a bit and air the house, and oh my gosh, it's too much. So yeah, but they do say there is a radius rule. So, and this is a mistake that potentially Mikey cheap off-grid living Mikey made, is buying the cheapest land regardless of the distance to care. And I think as we get, if we're thinking that's where we want to, settle, retire, or anything too, I think an honest conversation with ourselves about being out too far from stuff, is one to have. It's as much as like I said, I'm 57, I want to go out and experience, living a little bit further out, but I'm also looking at places that I'm not too far from stuff, because at the moment places I'm looking, I actually would be quite far from a hospital. So the nearest one to me would potentially be one out in Chesapeake, and that's not that close by. Whereas at the moment, I'm close to a couple of hospitals, not too far. So it's just something to think about. So you've got to sort of think, what they recommend is mapping your site within a 35-mile sort of radius of a level 3 trauma center. Believe it or not, I know it's horrible. But as much as Tim doesn't want to think about his coronary artery calcium scores, thinking about, potentially things happening of that nature is important. And other things, obviously, is like, if you suddenly become immobilized like this young man did, and he had somebody with him. Think about Tim out here on his dirt bike, guys. Think about if Tim were to become immobilized somewhere. He says he has a problem with that rotator cuff. We saw him struggling. There's so many people who have been so kind to make comments about from the How to Load Your Motorbike video, about how Tim could just have so many things go wrong, either loading that motorcycle onto the ramp or doing somebody else harm with that particular hitch sitting out. So anyway, let's get to our friend Sarasota Tim, and then I'll share some of that the news that I have, and it's quite good. So make sure you hit the like so people know that we're live here. I know it's been a beautiful evening. And so let's get Tim to 1.5, and let's hear about what he's going to be up to. I think this is the only video he's put out today. It's not missed. We can talk about other stuff. So much happening in the world.
And you can tell that the place is already packed. There's so many people here. Everybody's circling around trying to find a parking spot. I found a rock. I had to,
yeah.
I put the kickstand down, and I leaned the bike over to get off. And of course, as you know, the soft sand kickstand started going down. And even though this bike only weighs 300 pounds.
Tim probably dressed like a pirate. Dennis.
You can't hold it up once it gets over too far on you. So I almost dropped it. Not really almost, but it was getting there. So I pulled it back up, and I came over here where I parked one time before, and I searched on the other side of this wall, and I got myself a rock. Look, I got my little, and if I find something better, a beer can, whatever I can flatten out, that would be great for a temporary thing. But I want to pull it up over here to the end where the beach is, and just kind of sit there and chill out a little bit. It was like 60 degrees this morning. Felt excellent.
Wow.
So ride the bike was fun.
Jeez.
I got 330 miles on it now, and I'm waiting.
I mean, I'm glad you were 20 minutes from a stroke center, and that's the big one too that people don't realize. You don't want to be that far from a center that's able to manage strokes. And I'm glad you were close to one end, because you have to have medications depending on the type of stroke there is. If it's an ischemic stroke and not a hemorrhagic stroke, you can use medications to reverse the effects of that. I think it's TPN, I want to say it's called. No, that's total parental nutrition. Where's my pharmacist when I need her? Oh God, that's an intellects question. Sorry, I didn't do that much with strokes. It's something like that. It's like a letter like that. Somebody's gonna know it and correct me in the chat. It was definitely what I used to know when I had my questions for my nursing tests. But there is a medication that can be given, but you have to get to a hospital because you need to have an MRI of the brain to make sure that the stroke was not a blood clot of origin, because you cannot give that medication with blood clot. If it was because you were lacking oxygen, what they call an ischemic stroke, then they can give you that stroke reversal medication. Its name's blinking on me at the moment. Yeah, more stuff for Tim to buy. Yeah. So yeah, I know he's advertising Munster without probably getting paid. You know, this is like, what in the, I promise you, I don't know anybody who goes out dressed like this unless they're like competing. You know, nobody who's just riding around dresses like that. Tim is out wild. He's just dressed up costume. That's why I feel like he's going to get injured somewhere. He almost had that thing where his, what was it? Something fell on top of him almost.
To see if that low fuel light comes on at 65 miles like it has been. AI keeps telling me when I get around 400, 600, 800 miles on it that the gas mileage should go up. So I'm a long ways from there yet. So I'm expecting it to turn on here soon.
I'm
and
so
I'll go fill it up. I'm
sorry.
putting premium in it too.
I'm sorry for that.
Anyway, she's a beauty. I haven't rode it much. It's really a lot of fun. KLX 300.
You made
All right,
it
let's go over here and pull it up a little closer.
Special medication.
All right, everybody, I've got it parked over here on the sand right near the entrance to the beach. I'm not going to be here long. I'm burning up. So, I mean, I can take everything off.
I am so happy to hear that, Ann. I'm going to try to figure out what the name of that medication is. Like I said, I used to know that off the top of my head. But yes, I'm so glad. Yes, it's a 3-hour window. And that's why if you're out somewhere in the middle of nowhere and, you know, that you're going to be potentially out of luck. And it's huge. It makes a huge difference.
I sit here and get some sun. I just want to ride. But I did take a couple of pictures of her sitting there. And let me zoom in for you. I'll get up here on this little wall. And
That's it.
I went through San Juan's like 3 times. I went around the circle.
TPA.
Feels good in the breeze. Let me show you what's going on here at Lido Beach. Just an absolute gorgeous spring break day, Saturday. That pipe, if you didn't see my previous video, runs almost a mile. They're dredging the...
That's it. Thank you, Debbie. TPA. I was saying TPN, which is total parental nutrition, but I was close. It's TPA. It's a lot to remember, I promise you. And like I said, I don't generally deal with stroke patients. I deal with more total parental nutrition patients. But yes, that's the one. It actually is an acronym for Tissue Plasmagen Activator, or Alteplase, which is the name that I'm also more familiar with. Alteplase. That's definitely the one I've definitely heard. And that's an FDA approved clot busting drug, because we actually use, believe it or not, we use that Alteplase also in situations where we want to unblock a clot in somebody's port, like PICC line particularly. And there's a way, because you don't want to have the PICC line removed, but the hubs are blocked. Maybe people have been drawing blood from them. And those little things can get blocked up. So sometimes we will use, under doctor's direction, Alteplase. Obviously, it just gets put into the hub, sits there, and then you have to take it out. It never gets flushed into the patient like that. But there's a way to use that drug also in other ways in the hospital. But it is for the clot busting drug used to treat acute ischemic strokes by restoring blood flow to the brain. And it has to be administered intravenously. That means in the blood vein within 3 to 4.5 hours on symptom onset to be effective. And obviously, with its primary risk being bleeding, that's why it's counterindicated for anybody who's had a hemorrhagic stroke. So yeah, I know like I said, I was calling it TPN, but it was TPA. So thank you, Debbie, for correcting us on that. And Alteplase, like I said, which is something I've used in helping clotty PICC lines in the past. you have to authorize it because they could tell you what's, well, you need to really make sure it's to bust blood clots. You just don't, like I said, you just don't go and administer that sort of drug into people without it being very specifically for a specific reason. And you have to make sure that you have clarified the 2 different types of stroke, because you never want to give it to a stroke patient that's having it from a brain bleed, which is very different from the sort of oxygen block. So it's very different reasons there. Yeah, dream booger. So yeah. All right, back to Tim trying to take himself out down here.
Pass down there, making it deeper, and taking the sand and running it all the way down there to make the beach bigger. But mainly is to make the pass deeper. Boats are coming through. People are just coming in here any way they can, trying to park, dropping people off. Parking spots are premium. Time of day? Oh, I don't know. I'm wearing a different watch today. The time stopped. Really don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely looking like something that got infected with pus. Green is generally a sign of infection in medicine.
Got a green flag flying at the lifeguard stand. It's just gorgeous. Great day to
Oh, just so great with the background wind.
Enjoy a fresh drink.
Very thoughtful to the audience.
Snack. Get out in the water a little bit. These people got a set up right here, don't they?
Oh, Lord. So this is Tim's idea of getting out on the dual sport, is going out in his green, loud as hell outfit and looking like he's spying on the beachgoers at spring break. Happy March Madness, by the way. We're a place to take an escape. Here's the Mucinex little guy.
I don't know. 10, not even 11 yet. They are filing in, baby. I knew better than to go to Bradenton Beach to Coquina. You're never going to get across that bridge on Cortez at 2-lane. No way. At least Ringling Bridge is a big 4-lane.
I have to tell that Tim confessed to everybody that he was just filled with Jesus yesterday. This is what we get today, is Tim doxing everybody's license plates.
That'll cost no problem.
Classic Tim, everyone.
All right, let's get back on and ride, man.
Oh, and seagulls.
Let's ride. All right, let's see if we can get this thing recording correctly.
Oh.
Hopefully I'm not too much down
I
or
hope
up.
you're doing well, Ann.
Take a look in here. Might be a little bit low. Put it right here. Okay. See if we can get on it now without killing ourselves.
Oh, God, kill ourselves. Did I just hear Tim say he didn't want to kill himself? I know, Tar Heels, that you don't like him at normal speed, but I might have to put him at normal speed and try to see if the Tim Reaper came back round. I want to say that's what I heard him say. All right, guys, hold on. We go back just a moment. Oh, somebody getting doxed over here.
Okay. See if we can get on it now without killing ourselves.
Yep. Yep. That's what we thought. And Tim wants to go out solo nomading somewhere. We're going to talk about something that you can have, like a life alert. That's something that should be had by anybody who wants to be out in the middle of nowhere. So that's going to be our third pillar. We'll get to the second pillar after this because it coincides with the motorbike and the motorbike loading. And the third mistake, or the second mistake, which would be the second thing you should be doing. The second mistake about hauling stuff and not doing it properly. All right, let's see how boring this is before we find. I share with you my juicy stuff, and then we take a quick look at Mikey's miserable video. Tim burned a steak, and I can't watch that, guys. That's just disgusting for me. I mean, if anybody's read studies, obviously charring meat like that is potentially a high-level carcinogen. So just cautious, guys.
So like if I want something, I just tell him what I want, and I'll let him do it at work.
Okay.
Yeah, then you do off grid.
All right, let's go.
All right, so back. Oh Lord. Really? Oh. Oh Lord.
I hope you can.
Oh. Jeez.
What a gorgeous day.
I don't think I can deal with this, guys. Not with the sound of that dirt bike. That is noisy. Let me see if that's all we get. Let me see. Is this all we get? Jeez. So noisy, Tim. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I can't do that. Why does Tim want to put his ears through that? I just can't. Let me go back to the poll. Yeah, it's like you mean done but not burnt. Oh, yeah, his is like burnt. Yeah, listen to that power. I know. Sounds like a lawnmower. This is like put. I'm just like, that is, oh, Lord. It's a sewing machine. Oh, I know, but your mini bike. Oh, my goodness. This is so funny. Gosh, this is a 25-minute video, guys. Okay, let's take a look at the poll. What would be your biggest fear about going solo? 73 votes. That's awesome. At number 1, medical emergency while alone. At number 2, very close. The physical labor injury with that young man. He pulled a tarp. He ended up in a hospital. And all they could do is give him some, pretty much some Tylenol. Running out of money is at number 3 at 14%. And last but not least, no cell service isolation. Most people are like, I don't care. But obviously it'd be important because if you need to call for help, especially if you're alone, this is where I wonder if Tim is making any of these considerations. He's spending $600 to put a hitch on, but I don't think he's doing anything else. Didn't he say he was not going to video taillights anymore? Well, Carol, one of the tenets of Sarasota Tim is you can't believe a damn thing he says. We need the tenets of Tim. Can't believe a damn word I say. Got plenty of money. Best cup of coffee ever. It's like his tenets that he actually lives by, though. It's more than just a catchphrase. It's a tenet that he lives by. He also promised us that he was only going to give us content that was really something that, would resonate with the audience and the audience needed to hear. Now, he felt we needed to hear yesterday that he is a godly man, that he has found Christianity, that Jesus is running through his veins. He just can't contain himself. So I know the comments are always choice, man. Some of the fancy restaurants where I live don't allow you to order steak well done. It's offensive. More runways behind me. Yeah, I mean, he actually did better with that. How he should just stick to some, what? He does better just doing the how to kill the steak video than this stuff. And the other video was 5 minutes. So you'd be better off, Tim, with just sticking to some really simple stuff. Why am I helping Tim? Good Lord. We're always trying to help Tim. All right. I'm going to share this. Oh, gosh. I got some gossip, guys. And then we'll get to Mikey because Tim got nothing else today, guys. But I have more interesting things. Oh, my goodness. Okay. They said that I could share this with the community. So I'm sharing it. And it came to me today. And I want to say thank you so much for the generosity with the buy me a coffee. And I guess in respect to this and the respect that it is a buy me a coffee segment, maybe I should just irritate the people who think that I'm a terrible human being out here and do a buy me a coffee. This is all the content we've had from Tim. He went, If you've been a member of the Good Life community, you would see that we did a react to Tim's message of positivity yesterday. So we've already done a react to that. I also gave out a little bit of gossip, if you may. So catch that on the members only, guys. And you'll catch that over there. And then all he did was kill that steak. That was it. And nothing else. Oh, well, do tell? Okay. All right. All right. Just because you guys are so awesome. All right. All right. This showed up in my email today. So yes, I'm gonna tell you. Yes, I can't wait until somebody mentions something about Virginia Beach. I know he's not mentioning Virginia Beach at all. Can he be on a booty call with Tammy? Well, he did say he was going to try to use that $10 Longhorn Steakhouse. He said he used that already. But he's back over at the Longhorn. Okay, so this is what I got. Okay, so I'm going to try to read this out loud. Hold on. I need to wet my whistle. What are you guys drinking? I'm being very English. Except they probably be upset that I put almond milk in here, but it is British tea. All right, so this came from Chris Google Maps, guys, and he bought me 6 coffees, which is very generous. So thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. And he said, for you to enjoy breakfast and coffee before your upcoming court date with Tim, or for treats for the pups, and probably gonna go for a little bit of both, maybe. Since Grandma's Pocketbook and Barium Exposure teamed up to copyright strike my channel and had me removed from the YouTube platform, this is the only place I can come to comment on Sarasota Tim matters. It's interesting. A lot of people come to my channel, as much as other people want to say out there in the community, I'm this terrible person. We know that there's some people out there creating sock accounts that particularly want to come in and cause havoc on these live streams, and my audience and community don't appreciate it, so we take them out. They just don't. But let me keep going. I hear Granny wants an apology. As far as I'm concerned, she struck my channel, I struck hers, so we're even. Okay, I have made peace and moved on with life, and I suggest she does the same. Okay, I am just the middleman on this, guys. Like I said, with this, I'm the middleman. I apologize to all I fought with and for all the times I defended Tim. Okay, well, thank you. I accept the apology. To Life and Vibe, Grandma's Pocketbook, Lolive Oil, Barium Exposure, Blind Views, Carl, Bohemian Nomad, Grifters Anonymous, Old Man Nation, Atomic Sage, Miss Vicky, Buckeye Gordon, and anyone else I'm forgetting. When you know better, you do better. I know better now, and I am sorry. I was wrong. I was a fool, and I no longer support Sarasota Tim. Squirrel Bait Parodies will not get an apology from me, because they originally had me depicted as Adolf Hitler in the thumbnail image for their stupid parody video. I'm just reading the words. Stupid parody video of me that you have decided to use in your case against Tim, which is true. So everyone knows what's going on with the audio. And obviously with the transcript, because I have to show the malicious conspiracy. So Chris is, and that's what somebody was mentioning about Carl, and we can talk about this in members only. And I'll mention it sometime more fully in a moment about his thought that Tim could take a bankruptcy, which is not going to be the case for this particular case. You can't do that. Okay, against Tim. They changed it after I called them out. I will not stand for anyone using that kind of imagery in a way that belittles the historical significance of the Holocaust. And I would agree. I don't really like to use... I've never dressed anybody up as anything. It's just not my style either. I'm a registered nurse. I'm here to make sure people stay safe on the internet. That's what I'm here for, and to build community. I personally would not affiliate with Squirrelbait Parodies, but that's your call, Ray. Well, Squirrelbait knows them. I don't affiliate with them, really. So, because I don't like that sort of stuff. I'm not a fan. Anyway, I am fine with you using my name against Tim, but I will save you the time and drama and tell you Tim and I only exchanged emails once. Well, that's good to know because we will want to subpoena from Tim his communication. Shortly after he made the shout out video to me, I informed him that someone had registered the domain sarasotatim.com to expose him. Tim said another one of his subscribers already told him and he chose to ignore it. Aside from that, we never emailed again. No personal visits, no phone calls, no text messages. I never met Tim and don't care to. You have my permission to share this with your channel. Good luck and take care, Ray. And that's the email I got. Yeah, hit the like button. You used to know somebody who lived in Virginia Beach, and I really did love it. And you had channel. It's Brian77, the word meaning I spread. Oh, well, nice to meet you, Brian. Thank you. I was glad you had a good time in Virginia Beach. So that's what I got from Chris today. And so, he said he emailed and potentially helped me with my case. So there we go, guys. What do you think about that? Yes, Carl is disappointing. He's been quite disappointing. He's quite angry at me at the moment. But, I'm the new person to pick on. But thank you, Chris. And like I said, your apology is accepted. And I appreciate that you are being very mature and adult about the situation and just allowing me to continue to Chris seems to have changed. Yes, I know. And just allowing me to continue to, I guess, for whatever reason, with all the, thoughts that they were quite close to one another. It seems maybe not. I see another Afro case man coming up. You will win, Ray. Chris Google is scared. Well, I'm not taking him to court. He's not the one he is just in Virginia. You only have to take the one person, the defendant, to court. But if you have proof of a conspiracy, and obviously there's those videos and the one where Tim says to listen to Chris Google Maps, and then Chris Google Maps had that response video talking about striking channels and so forth. And then obviously thought that they had email to show a link of a business conspiracy here. And the fact that this is a tort law and to do with a malicious with Tim with his strikes. It's nothing to do with fair use. I keep saying it's nothing to do with fair use. Is he? I guess he can see my channel. I mean, anyone can see the channel. You know how YouTube works, girl. But I did have some information that was quite interesting because there has been thoughts that, that if Tim were to lose, he could just potentially say that he could file a bankruptcy. And that's not necessarily the case. So I did want to share. I probably have it. Oh, I don't know if I can bring it up over here. Let me see. It might not come up. I'll bring it up another time. I probably have to get on my phone or something has to update over here or something on my messages. But pretty much, there are U.S. Statutes of law that in these types of tort cases, the defendant is not protected under bankruptcy. So even if Tim tried to file bankruptcy, I still garnish his stuff. So he doesn't get any protections of any type. So yeah, yeah. Has thrown Tim under the bus. Yeah, to Timothy. It does sound like he is not in any defense. And I've always said, Chris Google Maps is not the person going to court. I am not taking Chris Google Maps to court. I have no interest of taking Chris Google Maps to court. In fact, the name that I'm using in court is the handle Chris Google Maps. I don't even need to have necessarily the person's name because Chris is not the defendant in this case. The defendant is Sarasota Tim, who was the person who copyright struck my channel illegally, because he never fully filled through his obligations on the DMCA takedowns. And therefore, he actually broke the law 9 times on my channel. Something like 9 times. Okay, it's a lot. And so there was a patent. And so I'm getting Tim for that. Now, obviously, because there is a conspiracy, like somebody else who's helping him with the idea of doing this to my channel and causing harm to my business, I go for threefold the damages. It doesn't go to Chris. The only person responsible for any of this is going to be Sarasota Tim, not Chris at all. So that's it. So, but it's, it's part of these different torts. And because it is a tort to a business, a malicious, willful conspiracy, there's 2 codes that are being presented in the warrant. 18.2-499 and 18-2-500. And those are the ones. And like I said, Chris is not the one going to court. I just have to show this pattern here. Like they had known each other, they had communicated. Tim had done these things. And we subpoena for the communication that they had, see if Tim can produce the email correspondence and to court that he's being asked to present to the judge. We've always said we know Tim isn't going to show up, but the difference is that where I just sort of thought before, like, oh well, we just kick him to court and this that. The more I get into the case and start to work on this case, and get everything together and get Tim's motion to dismiss that he sent in all of these things and read Virginia procedure, the more my case looks really good. And so it's exciting and hard work too. So, but a lot of hard work. And back to the courthouse on Tuesday to drop off all of these important papers that I have going on. You just came in? You don't understand the question on your poll? I just got here. Don't. Oh, well, the question is poorly written. What would be your biggest fear about going solo? So if you were out off-gridding, going out on your motorbike in the middle of nowhere, like Tim has suggested, and living off-grid like we're about to see old Mikey here, what would be your biggest fear about that? What would make you the most concerned? Would it be a medical emergency while you're out there alone, running out of money, the physical labor, or having an injury, or lastly, no cell service isolation? Which of those things would be the most scary to you? And so backing back over, because I wanted to make sure I got to my second pillar. So the second thing I think that everyone should be concerned about, and getting back over to Tim real fast, is probably the best rather than the Chris Google Maps, because it doesn't make sense. So let me share Tim real fast. And the part where he said he thought he was going to kill himself over here. Let's just listen one more time. What's going to happen over here, Tim?
Hopefully I'm not too much down or up. Take a look in here. Might be a little bit low. Put it right here. Okay. See if we can get on it now without killing ourselves.
Yeah, well, killing ourselves. Well, you know what? That leads nicely into the second pillar. Mechanical advantage. You have to use the tool over the torso rule. And I don't know if Tim was doing the tool over the torso rule with that bike loading the other day. It's the idea that using brute force for daily chores, like pulling heavy tarps, I make these mistakes all the time as an RN. I think that pulling heavy patients in a bed, like I can do things. I do try to use certain mechanics of the beds in the hospitals in order to help with that. Like kind of putting the patients so their feet are going upwards and the head is going downwards, and then pulling that way and kind of using gravity in order to help me instead of pulling against it is something that I've done in a hospital level in order to help with patients that are heavy. Sometimes when you've had to have an extra person come in and do it too. So obviously you have to do the same type of idea of physics as well. So Tim needs to make sure he's using his winches and his ramps and his pulleys. And, the thing is that our backs are really important. And I've been finding I feel like a backache all week. And, so if you need to spend some extra money on doing things so that you don't injure yourself, it's worth it over, the cost of, something cheap, like a $10 tarp to pull something and then you injure yourself. So it's just one of those things, if you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere, it's just like thinking what you think is going to be cheap might turn out to be pretty expensive at the end of the day. So this is kind of, one of those last ones. And if you did want to be like Chris and buy us a coffee, there you go. All right, I'm going to switch back over to my other one thing here. All right, we're going to finish out with off-grid Mikey, just because it's quick and Tim had nothing else interesting to talk about. So let's get over to there. And if you haven't, like I said, had a chance to answer the poll, please go ahead and do so. I'd appreciate that. Hit the likes, whatever. All of those are great, and they all help. Okay. Let me see if I can find Mikey over here quickly. He's been pretty down in the map. I don't know if there's just somebody, people that want to, let me see. Is this channel here? Let me see. I don't think this is the video I wanted to look at. Had one that sort of talked about medical stuff and some other things. Oh, here we go. He's arguing, but he's out in the middle of nowhere. He's been, hold on. I got to share you, Mikey. All right, let me speed him up. He's at normal speed. No, let's get him to normal speed. Let's speed him up at 1.25. I think he's a slow speaker. Let's find out.
Keep going, keep squeezing us until there's nothing left, right? The cost of rent is skyrocketed.
I'm not sure why Mikey is getting upset about rent. Mikey makes me laugh so hard. Because why is he getting upset about rent? He's supposedly on this land you bought, son. Turn down your ass about any of the stuff that you videotape about is nonsense. I really do hope you win your court case because this guy's a jackass. He deserves everything he gets. Do it fast. Well, we're certainly trying to do it as fast as we can, which in Virginia actually is really rapid. So we are going to court in April. And so enough time to get ready. And this is like the mid-tier level. So I can go pro se. Like I said, I am working with somebody behind the scenes to help me with certain parts of the paperwork, because Virginia is very procedural heavy. So as long as you're following procedure in Virginia, you do pretty good. So, and cramping about your commercials interrupting me, I'd like to say that I usually follow you, and when I'm available, I do follow you, and they also go, well, I don't know about my commercials. Oh, my commercials. Oh, like asking people to like and subscribe. Well, I'm trying to do it less. But good feedback.
But the cost of food, it's all absolutely ridiculous. Our medical system is an absolute joke, and it just keeps going. Friends, do you ever have those days where everything kind of upsets you, where you become kind of petty? Well, I'm having one of those days today. I just had a little argument with AI Google Assistant. Every day I have been checking the price of Brent crude oil, and I'm always asking the same thing. Please tell me the current price of Brent crude oil. And before I go on with this, I want people to understand that I'm saying this as well. So pay attention to this part. This little argument isn't really with the AI. It's about the normalcy bias that's even become systemic at this point.
I hate that text to voice too. Also, I promise you, I have to tell my friends after I see it typing out what I said, and then it changes it, and then I haven't realized I sent it. I'm like, what the heck did I send? Oh, it just doesn't understand my English accent, so I can empathize on that. Thanks for the laugh.
Now, I understand optimism. Optimism is great for a lot of things, but
Oh no!
let me get on with the argument here. Every time I go on there and I ask for the current price of Brent crude oil, it shows me
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Debbie. FYI, notice that Tim just listed his Nike Runner, $75, and Battleborn battery. I'm gonna have somebody recommended using a toilet flush sound. Every time that Tim puts something and it's sold on Facebook, like flushing money down the toilet. There it goes. Oh, on Facebook Marketplace. Oh my goodness. It is a very 70s stash. I don't know what this is about. Hey, it's an upgrade from the Mohawk. Keep telling us how it's so good on the off-grid. Because this is Mikey's land, I guess. Supposedly he got this land. Cheap off-grid living. He bought this piece of land. And he's been supposedly, telling us all that only those gridding and offsteading and homesteading are going to survive this economic downturn. And then he's on this. He got more concerns than I have. And I'm really out here living in the urban life.
a chart of futures, and then the AI assistant will tell me the actual current price. It'll pop up with a chart saying $105.60, right? That's the last day of financial futures. Okay, that's a guess.
Oh, he's still trying to sell that subscriber gift, man. That's hilarious. That reminds me of the scene from Old School where they kept passing around that bread maker. It's like he just doesn't want it. Nobody wants that battery, Tim. I know it's very expensive, but obviously it's very specific as to what vehicles it fits in, RV vehicles. And then I know Nikes are a different type of shoe, and that's why they would be sold on a Facebook marketplace, but I don't know. I would never want somebody's used sneakers.
It's a future guess by the investors. That's not the current price that I asked for. And then the AI assistant will pop up and say, the current spot price is $110 per barrel. Well, if I asked for what people are guessing the future is going to be like for the price of oil, maybe show me that chart. But I am asking for, how can you get any more current?
I heard Mikey got really upset. This is one of, I watch Blind Views. Thank you, Blind Views. Shout out to you. And supposedly Mikey just the other day did a live stream. Now, not every live stream am I going to get new members or people, throwing out super chats or whatever. But that's okay, because I promise you, just you guys watching and people watching on the replays and stuff and all the likes and stuff, there's still money to be made from a live stream. So it's great when you get a tip. Obviously, I kind of got a tip today, I guess, because Chris Google Maps sent me 6 coffees. So thank you to Chris Google Maps for that wonderfully generous, fantastic tip. Obviously, they all have to be shown in my taxes, which is great because it's business income. There's ways that actually helps me look great for my business and all sorts of stuff. So it's actually really beneficial. YouTube, if you're able to take it as a little bit of a business and treat it seriously, it is a wonderful way to have a side income, like Tim says. Tim isn't giving people any good information about it because he's too covert. He doesn't really want people to know how much stuff is going on, because Tim unfortunately thinks that actually going to decrease the money that he'll make from his channel, which I think that's not true. I think had he been more honest. But it's funny that he's like selling that subscriber battery. Mikey, though, got really upset the other night, I heard, and was looking at his PayPal account and was watching it and looking at it and everything. And during his live, and I guess he wants people to actually like donate during his live. And well, I don't think that's true. Interesting take, but I don't think that's true. And he got so upset that he didn't see anything in his PayPal account. This is obviously somebody who says they are very self-sufficient out there, homesteading and home gridding and off-gridding and so forth. That he said that he like ended the live abruptly, just ended it, and he'll delete his lives, which makes no sense to me because you still can make money off a live. Even if the people aren't donating. I mean, what a thing to do to your audience. Yeah, he quit the live stream halfway through. Well, he deletes them. So I don't think it's on his channel. He doesn't keep his live streams up. I keep my live streams up. And I promise you, there are views after the live streams are up. If you have hopefully interesting topics or content or something, I guess, people will come back and watch. This is the sort of stuff that people like to stick on the TV on a Sunday morning, I hope, and clean the house with this, fun and laughter going on in the background. Looks like he's had 2 and 2 and gets 5. Well, when you're huffing and puffing at your audience as a grown person on your YouTube platform, I mean, I know he's probably potentially getting burnt out. I think he's been on the platform for, 10 or 13 years, but I don't think he's quite getting the membership reviews or whatever, like the off-grid living camper Kevin or one of these other guys that he hangs out with. You have to come back when I miss a live. Thank you for keeping them up. Well, absolutely. It's I don't know why people would take them down. I promise you, lots of views afterwards. It does not make any sense to me why anybody would take a live stream down. Lots of people can't join them, and lots of people want to come and catch up with them later. I do great. I'm engaging. Well, thank you, Ann. As engaging as Mikey, I hope. All right, keep complaining, Mikey. He's like, I know things are bad at the moment, but it's coming from a psychiatric point of view, and sometimes I mean, don't get me wrong. All of us have tough times. All of us have tough days. All of us have struggles. But he's like continually struggling out here when he's supposed to have found solutions to avoid all of these monetary issues by living more self-sufficiently.
Than the word itself. You have to say spot price, maybe. I don't know a ton about the market. I know a little bit, but I'm learning more and more. I'm an autodidact, so I teach myself everything. I'm getting to know quite a bit, but listen to this conversation that I had. It gets absolutely...
Autodidact. Does he mean autodidactic? I'm going to have to listen to that again. That's so cute. I'm sorry, Mikey. I don't want to be mean. I was like, that's interesting. Maybe it's just the accent. I think he's meaning to say autodidactic, which didactic, obviously, to teach, to self-teach. He's trying to be fancy, but it's cute.
Or I'm an autodidact, so I teach myself.
Autodidact. Autodidactic? Yeah, he says he's an autodidact. Mikey is just grifted. I guess he came from the same same didactic academy as Tim did.
Everything. I'm getting to know quite a bit, but listen to this conversation that I had. It gets absolutely insane. So I'm showing the future price. It gets better as it goes, so stick with me. Why am I getting conflicting numbers? Chart shown says 105.
He's reading the AI. Okay, we're already into issues, guys. I'm enjoying Mikey. I know he wiped out most of his catalog and probably the live stream from yesterday. We'll check. The live streams will be an empty tab, so we won't get to see, maybe I have to check to see. Maybe I need to subscribe and get a bell notification to Mikey, and then I just gonna have to snipe him I'm gonna have to snipe one of your lives, Mikey. No, I hate doing that. But to see a midstream meltdown from a grown man who's not feeling like he's getting enough donations from his audience is wild.
Well, everything else I check is saying 110. So the price is actually 110. Yes, as of today, March 20th, 2026, Brent crude is widely reported as trading around 110 per barrel. That's right now, as I'm saying, of course. So then I go on.
I'm trying to figure out if he's off grid, he's just at the house. Why is he so worried about gas prices? Isn't this why he's off grid? I mean, I don't know. Correct me. Is he running a lot of things with gas, like power equipment and stuff? I mean, I would hate to have an accident out here. That's for sure. As a nurse, this isn't. Look at all the shrubbery you could get yourself in trouble with. All right.
And I say, then why show me the futures, which are guesses, on the price of oil in the future when my literal question was, what is the current price of Brent crude oil? The AI responds, because Brent crude is a commodity, there isn't just one single price. There is a physical price. That is what I'm talking about. I want the physical price and a futures price. You know,
exactly. That's why Mikey is is now part of the collection of the how to not get taken in by somebody.
They didn't say this in here, but I'm guessing futures is for contracts you may fill out today, for future prices, so on and so forth. But I'm simply asking for a current price.
I haven't worked it out yet. I mean, I know there's people who love to doom scroll. Mikey's definitely a doom scroller. Is there benefit to having some negative news? I guess everything can't be toxic positivity, you know. But is there a time too where, you know, we are very well aware that stability in this globe is tentative, to say the least, at this moment in time. And you know, and I think it's always been that way. I think we've always lived with this as humanity. And it's how you handle it. There's always, ever since, that's the one thing that I think that I've understood in my 56 years, is there's always a very bad and looming crisis around the corner. Some more than others, like maybe some of the things here in the US that we have that are a little rough. But otherwise, there's always global instability from the dawn of time, I feel. And so I think that's just how, you know, sometimes it's been worse than others. And I think that, you know, how you mentally manage that and still manage your other aspects of your life is important. I don't think those bigger picture things, I think how you manage that is that you make sure you participate in voting, or, you know, do the things that you feel that you can do. Pay your taxes. Participate, I guess, in a society. This isn't it, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know.
And I haven't got on to the main subject of this video yet. I got to get through this argument first. How can I get more current than literally asking for current? I didn't ask for futures, is what I said.
I'm arguing with a computer. I know. Yeah.
And then it had a long explanation. The physical spot price is the most.
Yes, and so glad you said that about being alone, because the last strategy that we're going to be looking at, if you're out thinking about off-gridding, is the digital lifeline. And it seems like he has a good cell service out there, but he may want to make sure that he's got some other solutions there. So we'll make sure we talk about that real briefly at the end. But yeah. Oh, he's talking to the AI. Not that I haven't asked the AI certain questions too, but yeah, you don't want to have it feel like your friend too much, because it will be nice, like, yeah. Because it's I've tested it out, because obviously with Tim, like, talked about stuff into it, like, well, what if I did this? And then we'll start trying to act like it's your friend. And I'm like, one time it said something about, yeah. I said, You're an AI because you've got it's like. So I can see how these guys could just go off on this stuff. Oh Lord.
Current price for immediate delivery. Okay. So it would be the current price. And it's just like I'm being petty here, you know? And maybe
Yeah.
I just didn't get enough sleep last night.
He hates you.
I don't know. But I said, no, I'd rather not see the manipulation. If people ask for
Yes.
current, maybe it should be current. Or should I be asking for the spot price? The reply is, if you want the absolute current price for oil being...
Well, we don't really this Mikey is just somebody who lives out in the middle of nowhere. So he's just an example of somebody who's chosen and he uses YouTube to fund his projects. So just to, not just to, so we're just going to use people as, like I've always said, little backgrounds to other things that, maybe we're considering. Like I said, I always have some country fantasy, but then I always have to be brought back to reality that I'm getting older. Yes, I do want a house, but I need to think about things, and so, maybe my house days have sadly sailed and I'm just always going to be a condo dweller.
Delivered right now, yes, you should ask for the spot price. In the oil market, current is ambiguous because there are two parallel prices. Okay. So we're getting there. And this
has gotten to the level of his content. His petty arguing with AI, normalcy bias rant. The way these guys are taking this content. I think Get a dog, Mikey.
This is the beginning of the story of this video. Why are these investors thinking that $105 will be the price in the future when clearly all reasonable logic points to the oil prices going way up? And this is the reply. Investors are pricing future oil at 105, down from today's 110, because they are betting that the current crisis is a temporary spike rather than a permanent shift. Now, let me scroll through all this. It gives long.
All right, keep going, Mikey. We're going to put you at 1.5, mate. He's like, this is his content. Keep going, Mikey.
Explanations, And then we scroll down to the end of this long explanation, and it asks, would you like to see the worst case scenario forecasts from analysts who agree with you that prices could hit 150 and more? And I said, yes, please. The $150 plus scenario, the full blockade. Wood McKinsey analysts warned that if the disruption...
Oh, no, not the McKinsey analysts. Oh, well, that's when you're going in deep, man, when you're getting in the McKinsey analysts.
Persists, Brent crude could possibly and rapidly surge to 150, noting that 200 is not outside of the realms of possibility. Goldman Sachs is saying it's going to be higher. JP Morgan, Fitch ratings is going to...
I mean, Mikey definitely looks like he's going to get out there on the trading floor and be trading for oil stocks. Mikey, how is this part of your content, mate? Keep going. Keep ranting.
It's saying it's all going to be higher.
All
these folks here. But when I ask the AI, the biggest, most colorful chart that first pops up when I ask for the current price of crude oil is
that's good to
the
know.
future's guessing from ridiculously.
That's good to know. Well, I thought he was supposed to have his food growing. That's why he got the homestead land. That's why sometimes this is just a fantasy, guys. It's a lot harder work than people realize, I think.
Optimistic people. This strait is not opening back up. I don't know where these people are thinking. I mean, there was something said today about Trump sending troops over there, right? That'll take 2 weeks at least for them to get over there, for a week.
Oh, yeah.
And then setting up and going.
Yeah, we don't take him for political advice. We just know this is where Tim could end up if he starts going on his off-grid dreams. This is Tim's future if Tim's not careful. Tim going to be wandering around the desert talking to the AI about gas prices that don't affect him. Really? Do you have money in the stock market, Mikey? I mean, I guess it could affect you in the respect that maybe your subscribers won't be sending you PayPal, but that might be just because you shut your live streams down.
on all these islands, and if you're getting troops on the islands, then that's not currently stepping boots on ground on the mainland of Iran, and so on and so forth. There's so many manipulations.
No, this is somebody out here he's just I think Mikey's fighting for material. I think that's what's happening. I mean, he's talking geopolitics here with probably little to no insight.
And propaganda going on right now, folks.
Like Tim.
I wouldn't even know where to begin. But
yes, you
all
wouldn't.
logical reasoning is
geopolitics,
pointing
Mikey,
to
let's
the
be
Strait of
honest.
Hormuz staying shut down, and we just had the bombing in Qatar.
Oh goodness! Now he's look. You can't be taken seriously when you got shrub behind you, mate.
How you pronounce it? And folks, this war is not going to end now until Iran says it's going to end. It's not even we couldn't pack up right now if we wanted to.
Yes.
And claim victory and just leave. Because they'll just keep the strait closed. It's as simple as that. So we have to stay. And if we stay,
Mikey, how is this going to put your views back up on your channel, or getting people to want to donate to your PayPal?
Then we got to put boots on the ground. And guess what happens when you put boots on the ground? It's going to turn into
I know
possibly years of endless fighting. The whole bunch of food and other shipments are being cut off globally right now. I know that it's only a 20% decline in supply, but when we are a major importer as the United States, getting most of our products from outside of the United States.
Oh goodness, this is what we all need: is financial and stock advice and gas price advice from our friendly off-grid living friend Mikey. He's very miserable with everything going on. Mikey, just I would just concentrate myself in doing your homestead stuff, sweetie. Just get into your projects, don't just get your mind and get into that. I promise you, the second you don't spend too much time watching a bunch of nonsense, you do your stuff, you'll be a much happier person.
When those countries are affected by the oil prices and not being able to get their oil at all, then their manufacturing is probably going to stop, or it's going to get a lot more expensive, which means the products that we're pulling in.
I don't think this is one way or the other about politics here, and this is just Mikey, I don't know, just being like, talking about topics that are beyond his need and stressing himself out about stuff he doesn't, not to say that people shouldn't be concerned, because I promise you, like I said, you should be when you are taking time to vote on an issue or something. I would definitely suggest not talking to AI, but researching and finding out and learning about your candidates and doing things such as that. Doom scrolling, I think, as an adult is just going to get you spiraling like Mikey, whichever side of the political aisle you sit on.
Here to buy are going to get more expensive. We are living in a global, just-in-time market right now. Little things that happen overseas can affect us here. There is obviously a normalcy bias going on systemically with the investors. You wouldn't think that they'd be playing.
I mean, Mikey, I'm not a geopolitician, but I can surely understand that things that happen in other parts of the world certainly affect things here in the United States. We are interconnected much more than I think people realize. So when things happen like pandemics and things happen, it's not just affecting to one person, affecting everybody. We really are much more homogenous as a planet than we sometimes realize.
Around with their money like that, because all logic leads to this going on and on and on. And we just asked for 200 billion more. Here we go. Starts with 200 billion. That $200 billion is going to come out of your pockets, and everything's going to get more expensive. Your dollar that you have in your savings right now, as soon as they print up 200 billion more, is going to.
The other reason why this is ironic too is that what you have to understand is, Mikey, this isn't about the politics part. This is about the YouTube creator part, if you may. And Blind Views pointed this out, so I'm not going to take credit for this. That Mikey is wanting his subscribers to donate money to him. So he's asking for, please be generous with money on one hand. But then on the other hand, in his videos, right, like here, he's talking about nobody's going to have any money. So It's going to stop people thinking, well, maybe I need to hold on to my money. Don't give it to Mikey. He's his worst advertiser. That's what's so interesting about this. And obviously he's, out in the middle of nowhere, promoting an off-grid living as being a solution to all of these types of problems and selling the fantasy, selling the dream to people. A lot of people who are getting older are feeling really worn out with stuff and might think this is appealing and attractive, but as appealing as attractive as sometimes even is to somebody who's a wanderluster like me, I realize at the end of the day, there are considerations to make. And some of these people don't. Like Tim is willing to go out on a motorbike out into a place that looks like this with no emergency backup.
The spending power of that dollar is going to be much less. If we spend this $200 billion, that will mean that 3 weeks into this new war, we will have spent more than we spent on the Ukrainian war, which was like 183 billion.
I wouldn't say, but I promise you, when my dogs who have allergies, my vet said that I needed to take them out to somewhere like Arizona where there wouldn't be as many allergens. So for certain breeds that really suffer with allergies, like Westies, even though it's probably too hot, maybe the desert might be a better place. So, but I would clarify with the vet first. But obviously, you'd want to have lots of water. You'd probably want to have dogs that are good for those types of environments. I don't think a dog that's for a hot weather would be good, but dogs that are more for these types of climates, yeah, why not?
So here we go. Open up the printing presses. Make it harder for the middle class. Keep going. Keep squeezing us and squeezing us and squeezing us until there's nothing left, right?
I didn't realize Mikey was middle class. He shut down his live yesterday because he wasn't getting any PayPal donations. That's what Blind View said. Oh my goodness. Mikey, if you're talking about the middle class being squeezed, I'm not going to talk about my audience being squeezed. I never get any donations. That'd be terrible.
The cost of rent is skyrocketed. The cost of food, it's all absolutely ridiculous.
Rent and food, Mikey, that's why you went off grid. So you don't have you live in the RV and you're supposed to be growing your food to avoid all of these things. That's why it's the hypocrisy of these people that I find interesting.
Our medical system is an absolute joke, and it just keeps going.
Well, yes, okay. I'm going to agree on certain things around the medical system. Not the medical professionals, because there's a lot of good medical professionals. Access to healthcare, terrible. Access to healthcare in a place like where you are, Mikey, even worse. How do you access any healthcare? How do you access a dentist? How do you access your doctor? If something happened to you out in the middle of this place, out here, Mikey, with you getting yourself all worked up, you could probably give yourself a coronary. How are you going? What would you do in that moment in time? Because it's going to cost you a lot of money to be transported from a place like this. This is the thing I always want to. If you're out in the middle of the country and you have to get medevaced out like my uncle did, that's a very expensive bill, sadly, in this country. That's a very big bill you're going to see. And your insurance is probably going to cover only some of it. So you better have like triple, double health insurance policies going on to cover every freaking thing.
Nothing gets better, and there's still people in the comment section. Oh, you just don't understand the 6D chess that's going on. I understand the 6D chess is going against you, people. I won't say anything. Right. I will not insult people. Try not to insult people with name calling right now. But
well, Mikey, you insulted your audience by shutting down your live stream yesterday because you thought they were cheap. Yesterday or the other day, halfway through. What a terrible thing to do.
Folks, right now is the time to start preparing.
You're not preparing.
And so on, in my opinion. And that's the opinion that I'm going to stick to. I'm real tired today. Maybe this video didn't come out the way that I wanted it to. Tomorrow's video will be better. Thank you so much for sticking around. What is going on with it? Can people, Come on now. Give me a thumbs up, folks.
This is the best part. Okay. He's getting so upset. Hey, Mikey, I've watched your video twice now. You got YouTube Premium for me, okay? I have YouTube Premium. So anytime I've watched your videos, I give you a little jingle jangle in your pocket. So just be grateful, because he's going to get very upset now, guys.
If you enjoy me just posting these videos every day, analyzing what's going on in the world, it doesn't take all that much energy to just reach up and hit the thumbs up button. Even if it was the worst video you've ever seen, you should, come on. You might have to put some ice on that finger afterwards. I know it's physically taxing, but let's do it, folks. Let's get these videos pushed out. Hit that thumbs up button. Try to, remain on a video for more than 5 minutes.
Oh, Mikey, really? Am I going to have to bring out a character? Oh, for goodness sake.
No. I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have best dry bacon. Well, I mean, you know what that is.
And we love a good dry beggar around here, man. We really do. And especially I'm one of the best dry beggars out there, so I'll take it.
So I know your brain starts screaming at you because you need the dopamine hits constantly. So long form videos are going out the door. Yeah, I know. Go watch some shorts.
I know.
Of some gal doing something funny or stupid. But all right. Yeah, or just ignore everything that's going on in the world. Everything's going to get better.
Ignore everything in the world. Everything's going to get better. No, you don't ignore things in the world. I have a ballot that I'm filling out and need to get sent into the mail. I promise you. People don't ignore things in the world. Doesn't mean that we're all, I am here for entertainment, Mikey. Maybe that's something that's out there. How can you be unhappy? You're out in the middle of the desert. You've got your own land and everything you wanted. How can you still not be happy? That's what I don't understand, man. That's what I don't get. You had it all going great. See, that's the thing. These, if your channel goes well for a while and then it doesn't. See, Tim is barely putting out content. He's so mad with his audience. It's because Tim's too busy trying to sell everything on Facebook Marketplace. That's much more lucrative business for Tim than posting out videos that get 2,000 views.
Because we've been through this before since it happened in the 70s. That means everything's going to go back to the way it was again. Gives me a headache sometimes. I'll see you folks in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. All glory to God above, as always. And woo! So here we go.
Right. I love how Mikey doesn't realize that his thing. Okay, let's see where he put his live stream and see if it's gone, and then we'll just check out with the poll, guys, because I've had you here for a while. So see, we don't even see his live tabs because he doesn't even keep them up. So they just never exist. Just never exist. Are you absolutely disgusted with the current global events and the cost of living? Mikey, aren't you supposed to be cheap off living in order to kind of have no cost of living? That's what I don't understand. All right, so Tim got anything extra before we head out the door? Look, Tim, that's all he did today. And burning out the steak. Yeah, Tim's not, 1.4 views. That's what I say. Tim's Dinger hit it, I think, on the head a little bit today too. That potentially a lot of Tim's driving around videos, he potentially could be putting everything down for mileage and getting 70 cents a gallon or something, No laugh is worse than FT. Yeah, he has. Well, I have a pretty awful laugh too. I'm not gonna lie. I know. Oh, I know. My grandmother always tells me the story about the fact that she didn't really have anything during the war. And this was here in the United States, and how that she had saved her shoes that had been her shoes that she had worn on the wedding day with my grandfather. But she had to wear those shoes to death because they were the only shoes she had during the wartime and stuff. And how, they kept rehealing them. And, you can't even get a cobbler nowadays. I remember when I was a young girl in England, I used to get shoes resold all the time. I don't think anybody gets a pair of shoes resold anymore. With especially the heel part. We'd get that redone and take those over to cobblers all the time to get those taken care of. And it cost, a couple of dollars or a couple of pounds or something. I remember they literally have the cobblers right up there, Mr. Minute. And he would do the shoes right up there at the and the keys and everything. Because I had a bunch of my teenage friends would work there on Saturdays doing the shoes and working as cobblers. Oh, the Virginia earthquake. I remember feeling that Virginia earthquake. Yes, I remember it. I remember standing in somewhere, I think it was in a doctor's office in Norfolk, Virginia, and I felt the building move. And I was very familiar with that sensation, having lived in Mexico City. So when you live in a place like Mexico City, you're very familiar with the feel of an earthquake. So it's a very strange feeling in Wellington. Yeah, you guys get them in New Zealand too. Yeah. In Mexico City, it doesn't feel good though, because it's not the best organized place, and the buildings are kind of. I don't know how much they follow like regulation. I was surprised to find out recently, and happy to hear that Mexico has completely banned smoking from any of its beaches, airports, public places, anywhere. Like they have stronger bans on smoking now in Mexico than they do here in the US, which I found surprising, because back in my time when I lived there, people smoked everywhere in Mexico, but now they're really strict. Okay, so the last thing, one thing is there's a satellite messenger. So there are services like Garmin InReach that you can use for calling 911 when you're solo off grid, or if you can't move and reach the phone. So Tim needs to make sure that before he just goes off and rolls out in the desert like he's planning, because he keeps talking about this travel that we have not seen. How long does it take for him to plan this travel? Do you think he just needs to sell everything in the shed first? Because he's been talking about this travel for forever and a day, guys. And we haven't seen him doing anything. Oh, you just came home? Oh, you went to Madison, Wisconsin? Very nice. Well, I'm glad you had a lovely day. Well, we're just on the way out. So I'm so sorry. We're just finishing up. So you have to catch us on the replay. But I'm glad you stopped in to say hi. Hope you got a chance to answer the poll. 108 votes. That's pretty good. So if you were a solo, I probably should have written this question a little bit better. But if you were an adult and you were going to be out solo, like off-grid living Mikey, or like Tim keeps saying he's going to be. I don't think Tim wants to be that far from civilization, to be perfectly honest. As much as he talks about wanting to be out on that motorbike and stuff and that ridiculous outfit, because it's ridiculous, I'm just going to say, I think that he likes his creature comforts too much. And so I think he's having a real, because the other day he was saying, I'm just going to pack it up with my tent and I'm just going to pull on out and all this, that, and the other. I'm thinking to myself, no, you're not. You're not doing any of that stuff. Because he was like, if I can't take the RV, I'll just put the bike on the hitch and put the tent in. No, you're not. Why is that? Just all of it. It's just sounding like somebody wants to have a medical emergency. So, all right, let me finish out this poll. But thank you for all for voting. Okay, so what would be your biggest fear about going it like that, out like Tim, out in the middle of nowhere, living out in the middle of a off-grid home site? Would it be, and so at number 1, 56% medical emergency while alone. Number 2, 23% running out of money. Yeah, because maybe you can't get that side hustle. Mikey is obviously, somebody who's not had a traditional job. YouTube has been his income. And for a while, when the Nomad thing was hot and was a big topic, and he was not just deleting his catalogs and so forth and having his channel hacked into and whatever else. I heard somebody else got their channel hacked into. He was living pretty good. And but now I think there has been some changes, and he's not making money like off-grid living camper Kevin or whoever. There's one guy who's got like that was doing a video recently with Mikey, and he had like a sponsorship with Brooklyn Bedding or something. I just don't see Brooklyn Bedding sponsoring Mikey. Anyway, number 3, the physical labor injury. Jeez, yeah, pulling something. And then last, no cell service isolation. The isolation, though, maybe should be number 1 after we just saw how Mikey is befriending his AI. Careful with those things. They can they pick up on your tone. Okay, so if your tone is miserable, I'm surprised he's not just getting the scripts to call like Samaritans or something. Oh my goodness. How much is a pack? You're a vapor? I'm a vapor? You a vapor? Make it easy. How much is a pack? Black vape. You vape 20 a month? Good for you, Ann. Yeah, hit the likes on the way out. All right, guys. That was fun. I hope everyone's having a fun Saturday night. Like I said, Tim's not up to much. That was interesting that I heard from Chris Google Maps. So if you just joined me, I'm a vet, and you haven't had a chance to see the message that I received from Chris Google Maps, make sure to check out that, because that was a pretty juicy piece of gossip this evening on the community that we were not expecting. And yeah, I'm plugging away, acting as my $300 to $500 an hour attorney myself. So. And I appreciate my moderators for being here. Miss Catherine, thank you so much. I think Angel Glass popped in too. And I appreciate it. And Sammy's here in spirit. So I appreciate you guys. And I'm at work tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to be going live. But maybe Tuesday, because I'm off of work that day. So I might be gone for a couple of days. But you'll see me back on the next one. So you guys take care. And be careful about these influencers out here. They might just be selling you a dream.
Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert.